ISIS has lost its final stronghold in Syria, the Syrian Democratic Forces says. ISIS has lost its final stronghold in Syria, the Syrian Democratic Forces announced Saturday, bringing an end to the so-called caliphate declared by the terrorist group in 2014. The Syrian Democratic Forces said it defeated ISIS and fully liberated Baghouz in eastern Syria. Syrian. At its peak, ISIS controlled a huge stretch of territory stretching from western Syria to the outskirts of the Iraqi capital of Baghdad. But the final battle, a coalition of Kurdish and Arab soldiers backed by US, British and French special forces launched in early February. For weeks, US-led coalition airstrikes had pummeled parts of the town while fighters from the Syrian Democratic Forces SDF pushed forward on the ground. Before the offensive started, SDF officials estimated that 1,500 civilians and 500 ISIS fighters remained, but as the assault got underway, it became clear that the actual number was much higher. The final phase of the militants, who mounted the last stand in Baghouz, included some of the most battle-hardened and experienced personnel remaining in ISIS, and the wives and children of the fighters were used as human shields. SDF commanders told CNN that its fighters had faced fierce resistance from the terror group, which slowed the offensive with snipers, improvised explosive devices, improvised and heat-seeking missiles. The militants had the capture of Baghouz comes nearly 3 months after US President Donald Trump surprised America's allies, not least SDF forces on the ground, by announcing that US troops would be rapidly withdrawn from the country. The decision triggered the developments also come more than 4 years after the group's elusive leader, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, of a caliphate from the pulpit of the Al-Nudi Mosque in the Iraqi city of Mosul. At the group's height, 7.7 million people were estimated to live under ISIS rule, according to Operation Inherent Resolve CJTFOIR, the official name for the coalition fighting ISIS. Many of those people, in the years since, the group's annual revenue more than halved from up to $1.9 billion in 2014 to a maximum of $870 million in 2016, according to a recent report by the ICSR at King's College London. Despite the loss of territory and funds, a UN monitoring committee estimated in July 2018 that ISIS membership in Iraq and Syria was still between 20,000 and 30,000. Altogether, at least 41,490 international citizens traveled to Syria and Iraq to join ISIS, according to ICSR. And foreign fighters, ISIS may have lost its last sliver of terrain in Syria, but the group is currently waging and its black flag. The US commander leading the war on ISIS said in February that he troops from Syria, saying the terror group was far from defeated. Joseph Votel, the top American general in the Middle East, warned. In mid-February, ANU also appeared to reinforce the notion that total victory over ISIS was not on the horizon. The report, the first of its kind since Trump announced plans to pull all troops from Syria, also says ISIS.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park.